We've got what looks like a pretty fun slate for today in daily fantasy baseball. Already 2 games have been postponed. We knew about the Mets and the Marlins, but also this morning, the Phillies and the Nationals postponed as a result of just torrential downpours. So cross that game off your list, and that does whittle down things at pitcher. Unfortunately, it means we will be spending top dollar at pitcher for today. So let's dive on in and get you set for this Wednesday slate. This is the FanDuel Live Q&A right here on the FanDuel YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels. My name is Jim Sonis. I am a senior writer and analyst for numberFire.com, here to take your questions live on air for the next half an hour to get you set for tonight's slate of daily fantasy baseball. As always, no matter where you are watching, you can get your questions in. We'll take questions via YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So no matter where you're watching, put that question in the chat. We'll get to it live here on air to get you set for tonight's slate. As mentioned, we have Scherzer and Cole. They are my top 2 pitches for today, which brings us to John's question over on YouTube. John says, how would you stack the Twins tonight? The reason this is relevant, especially here, is because I need a lot of salary savers to get to Scherzer and Cole. Scherzer's number 1, so let's lock him in there. And the Twins actually do give us some salary savings. Their lineup is out. So let's scroll down here to the Twins. Facing Justin Steele. Steele is a guy who doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, doesn't have the best batted ball suppression, so definitely someone against whom we can stack. And the Twins, I think, have enough bats to make this work. The 2 guys to me who stand out most in terms of moving the needle to get us up to Scherzer and Cole are the guys batting 6th and 7th, Brett Rooker and Ryan Jeffers. The reason I'm ranking them above Rob Refsnyder is because Refsnyder hasn't shown a ton of power so far this year. Rooker against lefties has not, but he's a powerful dude, and he's a righty. So I'd expect the power to come eventually for him. As far as Jeffers goes, a 254 ISO. So I think, to me, if you're trying to build a Scherzer lineup, you want to start with those 2 guys. Let's go to Rooker first. Get him in there, $2,700. Let's go to Jeffers, I think 22 potentially. $2,200 for him. That gets us to $3,100 left per batter. I do think you can go with Refsnyder. The numbers are not there yet because the ISO for him is at 119. Super disappointing. Not a number that you really want. But when you look at the batted ball data for Refsnyder so far, it's not bad. He has a 332 expected WOBA according to Baseball Savant. That's a decent number. He's making hard contact 44% of the time. He has a 40% fly ball rate. That to me says the power could come eventually. So as a result, I am willing to use Refsnyder despite the fact the actual ISO so far this year hasn't been that great. So let's put him in there. Second base, eligible on FanDuel. And he's $2,100. It puts us at $3,300 left. That means you can choose between Byron Buxton, Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson. I assume that they are all in there for today, and indeed they are. If you are a regular listener, you know where I'll go with this one. That's going to be with our boy, Byron Buxton. Got to be him. $3,700 is not low, but it's also not too high. So we'll go here with Jeffers, Refsnyder, Rooker, and Buxton. I would say, though, if you want to go Donaldson or Polanco to fill those other spots, that's totally okay. I am fine with that. But to me, Buxton is the guy, and I am okay with all 3 of these value plays. I'd rank them probably Rooker 1, Jeffers 2, Refsnyder 3, despite the fact that Refsnyder is batting higher in the order. Again, kind of a projection of future power based on the batted ball data for him. So that's the way I'd stack up the Twins for today. Let's put Buxton back in there just for the good vibes. There we go. Good vibes only here on the FanDuel Live Q&A. Let's go to Savant over on YouTube. How would you stack Baltimore? Let's check out Baltimore's situation for today. They're facing Steven Matz. I probably would not, just because Matz does a really good job of suppressing hard contact. This is his past 9 starts with fewer curveballs. He has a 17% strikeout rate, which is good for stacking, but also just a 32% hard hit rate allowed. That's not very high. Let's check out the results here for Matz. Of course, it takes me to the wrong dude. This always happens. I don't know why I don't learn and just automatically go elsewhere. Anyway, let's go here. Let's go to the past 9 starts for Matz and check out the results here. Let's go boom, probably about here or so-ish. That's 8 starts, missed 1, but either way, ERA 3.81. That's pretty good. So The results say I'd want to avoid stacking because the hard hit rate is so low. The peripherals say that. The results say he's been pretty good too. So I'd probably avoid stacking Baltimore for today. Savon is asking, how do you like Oakland for tonight? So the A's are facing Wiley Peralta. Pretty similar situation. I would be more inclined to stack the A's than the Orioles because the A's are really good. And they get a park factor boost being in not Oakland for tonight. So if you force me to choose, Savon, between stacking Oakland and stacking Baltimore, I would say go with Oakland for tonight because Peralta does not get that many strikeouts. Let's check out the results here because, again, he is similar to Matz in the sense that he does do a good job of suppressing hard contact. So we should at least check things out here and see what he's done. We've got one game for Peralta since he came off the IL. Let's see what he did there because that could give us an indication of what to expect here. Actually, this is his first game off. Okay, so this is his first game off the IL. Recent StatCast data against Peralta did let up 7 hard hit balls in his most recent start against Toronto, but that's Toronto. They're a really good team. So against Oakland, has not faced them yet. Check out the results here. 3.75 ERA. He's been pretty solid overall. And again, that's because he does do a good job of suppressing our contact. Let's check out the platoon splits here for Peralta, see if we can get jazzed about maybe one side over the other. Again, ignoring the results-based stuff, but very low strikeout rate versus righties with a 12% strikeout rate there. The batted ball data, a pretty good ground ball rate against both sides. So I don't think there's a huge read here, but I would say the A's more in play for me than the Orioles for tonight. Savon, any under the radar stacks? Let's go over here and check out some implied totals for tonight, see which teams may go overlooked just because the betting odds not super in their favor for today. And boop. I don't know why I said boop. Either way. Okay, so the Yankees might be a little bit less popular than they should. The Twins also might be less popular, although they do have a lot of value, which could drive people there. I would say this Kansas City-Cleveland game may be less popular than it should be. I think that both these sides are stackable. Cleveland doesn't bring a lot of value, which is why they're not as high on my list, but I think they're in a pretty good spot. Bobby Bradley is in a good spot, specifically for a value play. I like Kansas City against Logan Allen. I got some guys with some power, at least who had power in AAA. So I would say Kansas City, Cleveland is a good matchup on both sides to potentially fly a bit under the radar. Julius over on Facebook, what about a Toronto stack tonight? Definitely on board there. The only issue that I have with Toronto, I mean, I love them because they're facing Matt Harvey. The only issue I have is that I'm trying to get up to Scherzer and Cole. And realistically, it's tough to see having the value on the slate to make it work with Toronto tonight because their salaries are so high. Let's check out, though, to see if the lineup is out yet for Toronto. I'm guessing it won't be because they probably want to see what George Springer is looking like today. Yeah, so no Blue Jays lineup yet. I would say that Corey Dickerson, assuming he's in there with Springer being banged up, I bet he'll grade out pretty well. Alejandro Kirk, I've talked about a couple of times this week. Didn't play last night, but Danny Jansen, the bespectacled beast, went yard. So that's definitely positive as always. You get Kirk in there, and then you might have the flexibility to get to some of the actual dudes we want to use on Toronto. So I try to make it work, Julius, because I do think they grade out well versus Harvey, but I would rather have the White Sox among the higher salaried stacks, and I'd also probably rank the Yankees a bit higher than the Blue Jays among the high salaried stacks. But I would never say flat out no to stacking a team that good, especially against Matt Harvey. Let's talk to Michael on YouTube. Any love for Rodon versus Pittsburgh? I love Rodon, and I love the matchup. I just don't love the pitch count for tonight. Rodon has been back for one start. In that one start, he went 67 pitches. That means he'll probably be around 80 to 85 for tonight. So the next start after this one for Rodon will probably be there because he's tremendous and he gets strikeouts. We love all that. The problem is I'm guessing the pitch count won't be super high for tonight. He's not coming at a big discount relative to Scherzer and Cole because I think 10-3 somewhere in there, 10-2. So I would rather find the salary to get to Scherzer and Cole, who we know have a full pitch count for today. Speaking of that, let's talk to Salvatore on YouTube. Cole or Scherzer, Salvatore, the answer is yes. Is yes to both. So yes, I like both. If I had to choose, I would go Scherzer. The reasoning there is twofold. The first one is that Scherzer's at home. That's always good. That means he is facing a pitcher tonight, whereas Cole is not. The second reason is that the Angels just saw Cole a couple of starts ago, so they are more familiar with him than the Braves are with Scherzer. That is nitpicking, but I think when both these guys are so good, you kind of have to nitpick. So I'll put Scherzer number 1, Cole number 2, and Cole comfortably number 2 for me facing the Angels for tonight. Savon is asking how we stack the White Sox for today. So let's go over here and see what we've got, if their lineup is out yet, because the lineup will be a key dictator here. It is out. Okay, cool. Once again, no Tim Anderson, which does mean that we have both Yasmani Grandal and Brian Goodwin in there. Those guys are lower salary plays in a slate where we need some lower salary guys. Let's put Grandal in there first, and then let's go with Brian Goodwin. Both these guys, good power numbers versus righties, both lower salaries. So we plug them in. We've got some more flexibility. I think if we do that, we have the ability to go a couple places. Gavin Sheets is batting 8th. Interesting. Let's pull up his numbers here quickly to see if we can get excited about that. He did have some moments earlier on this year. He's batting 8th. I don't think that's a massive, massive detriment just because I think this offense is so good. They should turn things over quite a bit. So let's see what Sheets has done this year versus righties. We got 87 plate appearances, 299 ISO, 40% fly ball rate, a lot of hard contact. So I actually don't mind Sheets. Let's do this here. Put him there. And then it means we can't use Abreu, but I think I like Eloy Jimenez. Has been in a bit of a slump recently. Not a lot of dingers from him, at least not as many as he had when he first came off the IL, but things trending back up recently. So I'm going to go with Jimenez over Robert. And I would say this is a good 4-player stack for the White Sox. Makes getting to Scherzer pretty easy. So I like this one a lot. It's a super salary saver. Maybe you don't need to go quite that hard. Could check out Abreu if you got some other value plays. That's going to be tough. But I think that I would say I would give the green lights on all 3 of Goodwin, Grandal, and Sheets as being value plays for today. DJ, not sure why the notifications are not working to join you. Had to go to the Facebook page. I got a weird notification about needing to relink the Facebook account. So I just saw it. So I haven't I haven't been able to dig in further yet, but we'll check that out for you, DJ, and hopefully get that resolved for tomorrow. Savon, best starting pitcher and stacks for single entry. For single entry, I feel like you just go Scherzer. He has the best projection in terms of upside. And I just want the highest scoring guy on this slate. Max Scherzer probably going to be that, I would say. So I'll go Scherzer in single entry. I know he's not going to be, low rostered, but I would still go there. As far as stacks, I like Kansas City. I think they should go a bit overlooked here, despite having a peachy spot, despite having some guys who can hit for some power. So I would say check out the Royals in terms of single entry. I do like the White Sox still, do like the Twins, and I would say those are good spots to go for tonight. Let's talk to Rudney over on YouTube. Rodon barely getting to 6 innings pitched. Is there an injury there? The White Sox holding for October. He had an injury and just came off the IL. I don't recall the actual injury for Rodon, but he just made his first start back and he went 67 pitches. So I'm guessing he will be probably 80 to 85 for tonight. It's not like a longer term thing, but probably something that'll hold him back for a bit, at least for this next start. So we'll be back on Rodon eventually, just not quite there yet. Want to see him get more stretched out first. Mateo, I like the Yankees and the Giants tonight so far. What do you think? I think the Yankees, a pretty good one, facing Packy Naughton. Great name. Didn't have the best numbers down in AAA, but did get some ground balls. That's why the Yankees are not quite as high on my list, but I think the Yankees do grade out well. The Giants are facing Brett Anderson. Anderson's actually been pretty good just because he gets so many ground balls. So I am less interested in the Giants for tonight, but I do like the Yankees. Michael, any interest in Alberto Mondesi as part of a Kansas City stack? Yes, he's back. Our darling boy is back, Michael. He had a couple dingers in his final 2 rehab starts, so I would like to get there. The problem is the salary is not super low. I think he's $3,500 for today, so he's not going to be a big salary saver. If I'm in that range on the Royals, I'd rather get to Salvador Perez over Alberto Mondesi, but I think they're both good options. So Perez over Mondesi, but if you can get to both, I would do it because Mondesi, really fun, super high upside guy. coming off of his injury. Let's go to Brandon on YouTube. Best lower salary pitchers or mid-salary. Brandon, there aren't any today. And like, I try every day to give out a value type pitcher. I can't. Like, there's nobody below $9,000 I can get jazzed about. Like, Kaprelian is okay against Detroit, but like, he's not going to match the Scherzer and Cole lineups. So you've got a lot of ground to make up. And I'm not sure the higher salaried batters will help you get there. So I know that's a really stupid answer, Brandon, and I'm sorry, but like, I don't think there are any good value pitchers for tonight. I can't get there. If Joe Ryan's available, like maybe you can consider him, but like he's not in the FanDuel player pool, I don't think. Let me check. Nope, not added. So no use talking there. His pitch count will be low, probably around 80 or so, because he was in the Olympics, went pretty hard there in terms of like intensity. So I'd expect Ryan to be around 80 or so pitches, but like, I think to me, it's all about Cole and Scherzer. If you want to save a bit, Kevin Gausman's okay at $9,500, but and Max Fried's a good pitcher, but just a really tough matchup. So the lowest I will go tonight, Brandon, is Kevin Gausman. I know that's not value or mid-salary, but like, I think that's the way you want to play things for tonight. DJ, thoughts on Brett Anderson and Kaprelian? Anderson doesn't get enough strikeouts, really need to squeeze a lot more out there. So I can't do that one. Kaprelian, good matchup in terms of strikeouts of the Tigers, but just not enough. I don't know. There's not enough of a salary gap between Kaprelian and Gausman and then Scherzer and Cole. So that's tougher for me. Let's talk to Justin on Facebook. What's the winning lineup? Great question, Justin. I don't know. You tell me. Put it in the chat and we'll run that one out for tonight. Jerry, good day, Jim. I want to play Rizzo, Gallo, and Judge with Oakland, Marte, and Olsen with 2 Minnesota bats and a one-off for Cleveland. How do you feel about this? I try to make it a bit more concentrated. I know you have a 3-player stack in there, but I try to find a 4-player stack. So if you're going Rizzo, Gallo, and Judge, maybe squeeze in Luke Voit if he plays. I would try to get him in there. Let's see if the Yankees lineup is out. I would try to squeeze in a 4th Yankee and do that. And then probably squeeze out the Cleveland one-off, get it a 4-2-2 somewhere in there. So try to find a way to get to a 4-player stack, likely with the Yankees in there for you, Jerry. Salvatore, does the postseason approaching affect Cole or Scherzer pitch counts tonight? I think for a lot of guys, it could potentially. Like you've seen that a lot with the Brewers, but we've seen Cole and Scherzer go deep in games recently. Scherzer went 104 last time out. Cole has not fully worked his way back up from COVID, but I guess he went 104 last time. So I would say no for right now. I think they should be good to go. Jerry, a lot of time for September call-ups. Yeah, there are a lot of new names here for today. Joe Ryan is one. Max Kranick was up here before, but now back with the Pirates. We've got Jackson Kowar starting. So Packy Naughton for the Angels too. So a lot of new dudes. It does require more research, but hopefully if you're doing the work yourself, you will give yourself an edge over everyone else. DJ, can you show me how to stack Detroit? I probably wouldn't because Kaprelian doesn't let up a lot of hard contact. Detroit, not very good versus righties. So I would probably stay away from Detroit for tonight. Jerry, 2, 4, 5, 6 is how I would go. Guessing that's for the Yankees stack for Jerry there. DJ, is Sale still on a pitch count? I don't know if it's a pitch count because he went 5 innings each of his first 2 starts, but like it was 89 pitches the first start and 71 in the second. Then he went back out for the 6th inning in his 3rd start and he hit a guy and he walked a guy and he got yanked. So like, I'm not sure if it's a pitch count or an innings count or what it is, but it's annoying. So to me, I want to see Sale get to 6 innings. When he does that, I will be in, or get to 90 pitches. I'll be in then. But like, it's too hard to predict. Good matchup with the Rays, or at least a high strikeout matchup. But I just think his workload is not very stable right now. Let's talk to Savon. How would you stack Kansas City? Let's see if the lineup is out here yet, because I do like Kansas City for today. Hard hit Witt batting leadoff. Salvador Perez batting 3rd. Carlos Santana. Michael Taylor. Alberto Mondesi. Okay, so there is no Edward Olivares. That's kind of sad. Disappointed in that, but let's go over here and check out the Royals for today. I know Perez is not a value play at $3,400, but I would still want to get to him. So let's put him in first. Let's just do that, get that out of the way. probably going to wind up going Michael A. Taylor just because, his power numbers are not good, but he can hit the ball hard. So like from a strictly like, if we're looking just at his ISO, I think it's like 120 versus lefties, maybe somewhere in there. Yeah, 120 on the button. Nice call. Like it. Okay, so $2,700. I think that's fine. He has some upside. He's got some speed. You can get behind that. They don't have as much value as I was hoping they would have for today. Hunter Dozier's batting 8th. Pretty low in the order. 128 ISO. Disappointing. So I thought that the Royals might give us more savings than they are. That's a bit disappointing. Maybe that does let them fly a bit more under the radar, but Santana's not a big power guy versus lefties. It's always kind of been the case where he would hit for more power versus lefties and more on base stuff versus, or more power versus righties, more on base stuff versus lefties. I don't know. Maybe you do still go with him. Hard hit Witt's a bit high salaried, so it's tough. I'll probably just put Mondesi in there. Do that. I don't know. They're tough. They're tougher to get to than I thought they'd be. Maybe we just go with Dozier and put him there. I don't know. I thought they'd have more salary savings than they do for today. So a bit disappointed in that Kansas City lineup. Savant is asking for the best value hitter with upside. Okay, let's go over here. I think Corey Dickerson's probably a pretty good option there because he's facing Matt Harvey and he can go yard. So don't mind Dickerson. Don't mind Taylor just because he can, again, hit dingers. He can steal some bases. So Dickerson works. Bobby Bradley's a pretty good one for Cleveland. He'll probably bat, I would guess, 5th or so, but went yard last night. So it seems like he's healthy once again. Kowar's a guy who can let us some hard contacts. I like Bobby Bradley. And then Rooker and Jeffers for the Twins. Both those guys would work there as well. Hopefully that's a good list for you. But if I had to pick one, I would go, I guess I'd probably go Brent Rooker for the best value. It's him or Bradley, one of those two guys, I would say. Best like raw value play for tonight. Let's talk to Blizz Massey over on Facebook. Best stack or highest scoring game tonight, in your opinion? So best stack for today, I like the White Sox a lot. I think that's a really good team facing Kranick. Actually, best value play is Yasmani Grandal. I don't know why I glossed over him. He's the best value play today, $2,800. So I would say White Sox are the best to stack overall. Best game for offense in general? Tough one there. Let's see here. I think maybe like if we're looking at like ones that will go overlooked, I still think Cleveland, Kansas City is pretty good. Their total's lower, so they're not going to grade out super well, but I think that they're pretty interesting for today. Jerry says, I have a value pitcher. He may get hit, but I think he would do well for Gausman. Yeah, I think that he's my favorite, the lowest I'll go today. I think that he's fine. I will likely wind up with some Gausman today just because it's a high strikeout match. Not as high strikeout as it was previously, but Gausman's good. He's at home, facing a team that will strike out. Gausman works, but I just prefer to get up to Cole and Scherzer when I can. Savant, any more home run calls? Salvador Perez. I've kind of tapped out on Yasmani Grandal. Like he paid off for us last night. Should I push my luck and go him again? Maybe. So let's go with Salvador Perez, number 1. I think Dickerson's a pretty good home run call if we're looking for like a value play. Grandal works once again. So if you're looking for like under the radar dudes, but like the obvious one to me is Salvador Perez. He was the boring home run call in the solo shot this morning, and I'll stick with that for today. Savant is asking for a Boston stack or Tampa Bay. Okay, let's go here. Boston facing Drew Rasmussen. Rasmussen, I think, has pretty good results, but the peripheral is a bit more concerning. This is his 7 starts with more pitches, 4.63 skill interactive ERA, a lot of hard contact. So yeah, Boston could work for sure. The problem that they have is that they've got a lot of dudes out because of COVID. Xander Bogaerts tested positive last night. There may be some more ramifications there. So don't stack Tampa Bay, but I am okay stacking Boston at times for today. DJ, would you stack Pittsburgh considering Rodon won't pitch a full game? Nope, not enough power out of them. Jerry, Kansas City stack Perez, Lopez, big hit with Merrifield. Yeah, I think that Lopez is harder for me to get to. Lefty on lefty, pretty low power guy, but I do like Perez. I can better talk myself into Santana than I can with Lopez. I am okay with Michael A. Taylor. So they might be a better 3-player stack versus a 4-player stack. Get Mondesi in there too, just because there weren't as many value guys as I thought there might be. Savon, would you go to Cleveland for the value instead? They don't have a lot. I think the one guy they got for value is Bobby Bradley. But let's check out their projected lineup for today for Cleveland and make sure I'm not overlooking anyone in that regard. Okay, so, Franmil Reyes is under salaried. That's good. Oscar Mercado, $2,400. Let's see what he's been doing versus righties recently, because Mercado is a guy I have liked in the past. I have not been on him as much this year because it's been a pretty rough year for Mercado, but I think there's talent there, and I can be okay betting on talent at times. Okay. So, Mercado, 134 ISO, can steal some bags. That's not the worst. I'm not entirely sold that he'll play. I think this lineup is kind of jacked up, honestly, for Cleveland for today. I feel like they might think they're facing a lefty, but they're actually facing a righty in Kowar. Let me just double check that to be sure. Yeah. Kowar's a righty. I'm not sure why this projected lineup isn't there for a lefty, but Bradley's a good option for value. Let's check out Bradley Zimmer. He, for the longest time, did not have a single extra base hit versus righties, but it seems like he's been hitting for more power recently. So let's check out the, let's say, like mid-August on numbers for Bradley Zimmer and see if he's been hitting for more power of late. Let's go to StatCast, and let's go here to, let's say, August 10th. In that time, he has a 42% hard hit rate, still hitting too many ground balls, but hitting the ball harder at least. And let's go over here to the advanced tab and check out the ISO in that time. It is 133. So it's getting better at least, but still not necessarily great. I would say that Zimmer's probably fine, honestly, assuming that he's in there for today. So Bradley and Zimmer might work out. I think Bradley Zimmer used to be like a pitcher. But anyway, I think those guys could work for some value for today. And I might like them more, Savon, than Cleveland, just because they do give you a lot of value there, and they've got some individual hitters I like, but I like the matchup more for Kansas City. DJ, how would you stack Atlanta? Atlanta's facing Max Scherzer, would not do it. Jerry, how would you stack a 4-team stack? Seems to not work for me. Play mainly in large player fields. So I actually think that 4-player stacks are better in a large player field, honestly, because, like, let's say 30% of the field decides to stack the White Sox. Not all 30% will be using a 4-player stack. So basically what you're doing is you're reducing your competition. Like if we assume 30% stacks the White Sox, let's say 80% of that 30% does a 4-player stack. That means you're going up against like 20% White Sox lineups versus 30%. My math is very off there, but I would say in large field tournaments, it is actually more advantageous to do 4-player stacks versus smaller field tournaments. Jerry says, going to all lefties for home runs today. Got Gallo, Rizzo, Olsen, and Devers due for one tonight. Devers, I wish would have had one a couple nights ago. I was big on him, didn't happen, but I think the Devers call is pretty good there, Jerry. Obviously, all those guys have some power, so no objections there. DJ's home run calls Eric Haas, Akil Badu, and Darren Ruff. Ruff is facing Anderson. Yeah, okay. Lefty, but Anderson doesn't let up a lot of fly balls, but Ruff's pretty good. Been weird to see his career revived this year. Been fun for sure for Darren Ruff, former Wisconsin Woodchuck. Savant says Chong is a value. He might not play because it's a righty for today. So just keep that in mind with Chong. Once the lineup comes out, I would not be shocked if he is not in there. And then Salvatore says Andrew Vaughn is out. Again, I think that Gavin Sheets, as a result of that, is a pretty good value for today. Lower salary guy, has some power, in a good lineup. He's batting 8th, but who cares? So Grandal, we have the other one was Goodwin and Sheets, all good values for today within that White Sox stack. That is all that we have here for today on the FanDuel Live Q&A, but we are back once again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern on the FanDuel YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages. We'll talk to you then. Should be a fun time. Make sure you are subscribed. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button as well, because that does help us out a huge amount. We appreciate it as always. If you have more questions for me, I am on Twitter at JimSannes, JimSannes. Big thank you to Calvin Theobald, our video producer, for running the video side of things here today. Thank you, Cal, as always. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Good luck to you tonight. We'll talk to you once again tomorrow. This has been the FanDuel Live Q&A.